All right, do you want to tell me why you're knocking on the door of somebody who obviously does not want to be with you anymore? This is not a joke.
No, I'm not laughing.
So here's the thing. She doesn't want you. You came over to her apartment. You come over there with a fire. Don't give me attitude because I don't have to follow this agreement. You can't go to trial.
Doesn't matter what you think is threatening or harassing. It's what she perceives. So if I go like this, is that threatening or harassing?
Nothing makes me angrier than seeing stalkers, specifically male stalkers, intimidating women with a barrage of harassment. Thankfully, I'm not the only one. Here are 3 instances from 2024 where judges destroyed entitled stalkers. Starting with an intense clip, this judge rips apart an entitled stalker for repeatedly harassing women.
Is there a no contact order in this case?
Judge, who's the defendant?
This is Mr. Fritter. He hasn't harassed, Mr. Fritter, let me tell you something now. You scare me. And you scare me something good. You have, since 14, assault, trespass, deadly conduct, assault, DWI, forgery, and now a harassment and a felony assault.
Judge, there has been a note filed, but there is no protective order in this case.
Is there no contact in the felony case whatsoever?
I'm checking the qualifications. It's no threatening or harassing at this time. We would ask if that be a no contact in this court, Judge.
I don't see that the rip has been.
Are you Miss Lisco?
Yes, sir.
That's Miss Lisco, right? There. Come up, ma'am. Come up. I'm sending you for a drug and alcohol test right now, Mr. Fritter. I want to protect you as much as I can. No one has to have this kind of treatment whatsoever for any reason. And I will do everything in my power to protect you. All I need you to do is tell me. All I need is please give me the word. Mr. Fritter, look at me. You so much. One, I'm Can you imagine what life is like when someone has to walk on eggshells because they have the fear that if they make someone mad in the smallest respect of having socks not in the damn drawer, they're liable to get a beating? Can you imagine what life is like to live with that kind of fear? You're going to live it with me now, because one false move, I'm going to make your bond so high your head will spontaneously combust. But no one, and I mean no one, should have to live with that kind of fear. I'm sending you now for a drug and alcohol test because I want to know what, if anything, is in your system. And I don't know if I'm going to allow you to have contact with Miss Lisk. But if I find that you treat anyone or put anyone in fear or put anyone in harm's way, so help me, I will grow horn and tails because I will be so upset. And it will be on you. Do you understand?
Yes.
Abel,
Yes.
I'm going to keep Mr. Fritter so close to me that it's just ridiculous.
Yes, sir.
I'm entering what's called a magistrate's order for emergency protection. This is a court order that identifies her as a protected individual. You're not to have any kind of communication whatsoever. You're not supposed to have any, you will not have any threatening or harassing contact. What is threatening or harassing doesn't matter what you think is threatening or harassing. It's what she perceives. So if I go like this, is that threatening or harassing? It most certainly is. And it's enough for me to put you in jail and make your bond $150,000, maybe 50, maybe 20. But I will do, Mr. Frederick, I will do everything in my power to protect every single person of this county. And I don't care if you're kicking, screaming, crying because you go to jail and don't have anyone to bond you out.
Keep in mind, the victim of his stalking was present in the courtroom. Although she's not on camera, she voices her opinion frequently.
Your husband and wife of 10 years is kind of difficult situation that we work together.
I want to protect you, ma'am. And you know, the problem is that now that he's picked up these 2 cases, times will be just even more stressful. We have these protective orders. They're basically like cooling off motions so that, you know, you can separate, enough time will pass. People can kind of cool down, you know, so they're not under the stress of the excitement and then unleash on you. The last thing I want is for you to suffer any kind of harm whatsoever, you know, and I that's all I want. You know, all I'm asking is how things should be normal. Like, I'm not asking him for him to do Pythagoras theorem here. So, I don't know. You know, what I'd like is if you please just talk to our DAs here. But I'd like you to have their phone number at the minimum so that should anything ever whatsoever, all you have to do is let us know. And then
I haven't been in contact with the DA, so should it be assault?
I'm here for you. And I want to make sure that you're okay. You know, I've given him a lawyer. He knows what's expected of him. And I'm going to drug test him like crazy to make sure that he's not using alcohol or dope. In fact, I mean, I'm going to test him 2 times a week. I mean, I'm setting him now because I want to know what, if anything, is in his system. And then we'll go from there.
Judge, he will come back positive, but that's prior use from.
What were you going to test positive for, Mr. Frederick?
Marijuana.
Okay.
And ketamine. And probably some other stuff that could have been in the ketamine. But I mean, straight up, that's probably it.
Mr. Frederick, I'm going to test you. These are your bond conditions that are going to apply to you now. And if you fail to live up to these bond conditions, I'm just going to let you out. That's it. You will appear to me here 2 times a week to take drug test. And if I find anything is in your system, and I don't care what it is, I'm going to lock you up. You're ordered not to use any kind of dope or alcohol. And if you can't get this monkey off your back, because I am now giving you the opportunity to do it on your own. If you're incapable of doing it on your own, then I'm going to do it for you. Do you understand? No dope, no alcohol. And when I mean no alcohol from any source. No isopropyl alcohol, cakes, candies, foods, gums, energy drinks, tequila, lollipops, hair dye. I've heard it all, and I don't care. You come to me test positive, you'll stay with me. I also want you 3 times a week to do anger management classes so that we can deal with the anger issues. Look at me. 3 times a week. And I want a piece of paper showing me that you've done it, the date, time, location of where you've done it, so that I can verify that you've done it. And if you don't do it, you will stay with me. You now have the opportunity to address these things on your own. If you don't, you will be doing it with me. And if I get one breath that she's been mistreated in any way, shape, or fashion, Holy freaking moly. Okay.
It takes a lot of bravery to stand up to your harasser in court. I'm glad she stood up to that creep, and I'm glad the judge destroyed what was left of his ego. Click the like button if you are also enjoying these takedowns. Moving on to the next clip. This smug stalker with bad hair and a bad attitude goes against a no-nonsense judge.
Did you understand you're charged with the offense of criminal mischief, 2,500 to 30,000 as a state jail felony? The range of punishment is anywhere from 180 days up to 2 years in the state jail facility and up to a $10,000 fine. Did you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. After reviewing States Exhibits 1 and attachments, the court will find there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty, and the court will find you guilty. Are you proceeding with sentencing?
Yes, sir.
Anything you wish to say on behalf of your client?
No, Your Honor.
All right. Do you want to tell me why you're knocking on the door of somebody who obviously does not want to be with you anymore? This is not a joke.
No, I'm not laughing.
So here's the thing. She doesn't want you. You came over to her apartment. You come over there with a fire. Don't give me attitude because I don't have to follow this agreement. You can't go to trial. So here's the question. She doesn't want you anymore. So why are you going over to her apartment, knocking on her front door with a fire extinguisher, spraying the front door with the fire extinguisher, and then breaking her car? Why are you doing that?
I understand what I did was wrong.
But why did you do it? Do you not understand when people don't want you anymore?
I couldn't accept it.
Why not? She doesn't want you. How old are you?
From I'm 23, yes, ma'am. From a recent situation that we've been in, me and my daughter's mom been together for 5 years. I've always tried leaving the woman. She never let me. And
No, people do let you leave. You say, I'm
she
gone,
never
bye.
did. She never did, ma'am. And when she wanted to leave, no, I didn't accept it. And I acted out 8 months ago. And well, she's coming back. She's messing with me and I have to.
No, you're not going to have any contact with her. And here's the thing. This is what people need to understand. I don't know if people have this Romeo and Juliet complex that it appears that it's the end thing to do. But guess what? When people don't want you anymore, you leave them.
No, I completely
And
understand.
there's no thing as she won't let me leave. You know how you leave somebody? Bye. If you have a child together, you get an attorney to apply for a custody agreement. That's how you leave somebody. And I'm telling you right now, you are not going to have any contact with her. If she comes and knocks on your door, you're going to have to call the police.
I do have a police report, ma'am.
Okay. Are you employed?
Yes, ma'am.
What do you do?
I'm a barber.
And how many children do you have?
One, ma'am.
All right, this is the court is going to do. The court is going to sentence you to 1 year in the state jail facility, suspended and probated for 3 years. There's a $1,200 fine that will be probated. There's to be no contact with Elamar Morales.
Elamar is not my daughter's mom.
And yeah, Judge, I was.
What's the name of the mother?
I believe it's Brenda Martinez.
Yes.
All right, or Brenda Martinez. Is there any restitution?
That we were not aware of, Judge, to Brenda Martinez. We were just really given the information on.
Well, no, I mean Elamar Morales.
Yes, on Elamar Morales, there was restitution. She's the owner of the car.
Okay, restitution, if any, to Elamar Morales. And if there's an issue with restitution, you can come back. I'm expecting the restitution to be whatever the deductible was. However, of course, if she didn't go through her insurance company, then that will be something different. So there's restitution, if any, to Elamar Morales, proof of employment within 30 days. There's to be no employment as a home health care provider or with minors. If you're drug tested today, what are the results going to be?
Negative.
All right, we're going to do a drug test today. If he is negative, then we'll do regular UAs. There's to be regular reporting by Zoom or in person. Anger management. 100 hours of community service restitution. 40 of those hours will be waived if you provide proof of the COVID vaccination. The court is not requiring you to get the COVID vaccination, but if you do, 40 of those hours will be waived. Parenting classes with triple T. Once those parenting classes are completed, the remaining hours will be waived. I'm going to want field visits 3 times per month until further notice. Probation, is there anything else that he needs?
No, that's.
Is there anything you need from the court in order to be successful? Showing you what's entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it and did you sign it? Because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waived your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Do you understand? Because this is a felony conviction, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. If you have a question over what a weapon or ammunition is, you'll need to speak to an attorney. Do you understand?
As if that wasn't satisfying enough, in this final clip, the same judge shocks a stalker/robbery suspect when she lays down the law. He was hoping to get probation. Let's see how the judge reacts when that's requested.
All right, and for the record, the court has reviewed the letters that have been presented. The court will hear arguments. State.
Your Honor, based on the defendant's criminal history, he did pick up these felony cases as well as multiple misdemeanors that are also pending involving the same family. The defendant's conduct is escalating and continues to terrorize the family, including the complainants on this case, as well as her brother, her children, and her mother. And the burglary for habitation, a burglary to a habitation case, defendants alleged to have entered the house through a open window or through an unlocked window and grabbed the child from where he was sleeping at 3 o'clock in the morning. He's shown a disregard for the safety and welfare of the complainant as well as the children in the household. And it's the state's fear that if the defendant were granted probation, he would continue to contact the family, continue to violate any no contact orders that would be entered. I believe that the only way to ensure the safety and the welfare of the complainants are to sentence the defendant to the prison.
Defense.
Judge, I reviewed the PSI and also talked to Mr. Soto this morning regarding the impact statement as provided in the PSI, and I've asked him, since this incident, had he had any contact with the complainants? And since the incident, he stayed away from them. He does have 2 children with the young lady. He hasn't seen the children because of this incident, but he has not gone around them or their household. So I think he's shown that he can stay away from them. I don't think he needs prison to stay away from them. Since he's been on bond, since these cases have been pending, he stayed away from that family. Also, Judge, if you look at his prior history, he does not have any convictions for misdemeanors or felonies. He's 25, he is working. He has support. He has family members here in court with him this morning. He has the letters that were provided to him. I think when we pled on the case, Judge, the court asked him if he was experiencing any substance abuse issues at the time of the offense. He was truthful with the court. He said, yes, Judge, I was under the influence. I also asked him this morning if the court did testing, how would he come up? And he explained to me he would come up negative. He has not been using any type of substances since he's been on bond, since these cases have been pending. He's working as a painter. He's not on child support for the children, but he is willing to place himself on child support so he can start contributing to their well-being. Also, Judge, the TAP evaluation, I noticed that it is recommending inpatient treatment. If the court did grant his application for deferred, we would ask the court to first see how he does in intensive outpatient treatment, because he's shown that he can stay drug-free. But I do think he would need some assistance with that. Even though he's been doing it since he's been on bond, we would ask the court if the court did grant his application for deferred to place him in intensive outpatient treatment prior to placing him in inpatient treatment. He accepted responsibility for both offenses. He pled to these cases. And now we're here before the court asking the court to grant his applications for deferred.
All right, so this is the court's issue. And not really an issue, but these are things that I think of. All right, so he has a felony offense, and I'm assuming this is being taken in consideration, the violation of an order, protective order. That's from December 31st, 2019. The burglary that he pled to is from December 27th, 2019. So let me go in order. So he has a continuous violence case that's December 14th, 2018. I'm not saying it's true because nobody pled to that, but that's what he's charged with. Then after that, you would think something would click. Hey, I just got arrested, because I know he would have gotten arrested on that and made bond, and he would have gotten an attorney. So you would have thought that something would have clicked with that. But what ends up happening is on December 27, 2019, he picks up this burglary. Then you would have thought something clicked with that. But then what ends up happening? He picks up the violation of the court order or bond order or protective order on December 31st, 2019. And you would have thought that it would have been like, hey, I need to be on my P's and Q's because I picked up all these felonies. I understand relationships, and sometimes people don't love each other anymore and they have children and they got to make it work for the children, or they got to stay respectful to each other because they got to raise children together. And as everybody know, even though people say, we only need to be with each other for 18 years, but people know sometimes you need to be with certain children till they're like 25 or 30. I understand that. But then what ends up happening? He ends up picking up another case that he pled to, which is the assault case, on September 17th, 2022. So he has some issues. And I don't think that probation at this time is appropriate for him. Is he on GPS?
He is, Judge, and since he's been on GPS, he has not violated the GPS.
Oh, because he's on GPS because of this. And I'm not the judge who gave him probation for continuing to pick up cases. Some other judge did that. And the only thing I came back to do was probably add the GPS so that everybody would know where he was. So I'm not inclined to give him probation. I'm not going to give him probation. I'm going to sentence him, and I will retain jurisdiction. So in cause number 2020 CR 2998, court will find you guilty. Court will sentence you to 5 years prison. Give you credit for any time served. All right, we can go off the record. I'll retain jurisdiction.
Both cases, Judge?
Yes. Sometimes, it is about rehab. Well, it's always about rehabilitation, but it's also about protecting the community, and it's also about punishment. Sometimes people think the justice system isn't about punishment, but really, all these cases, there's an air of punishment involved, but hopefully rehabilitation. I know you probably think this is the end of the world. I came in here, I'm going to prison, but you're young. You still have a chance to get your life together. Please don't go to prison and get a bunch of tattoos because you're clean shaven now. Please let it stay that way, okay?
Well, what did you think? Which clip was your personal favorite? I love reading your comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more trial thrills.